So this is my power head. When we back up our boat to the beach, as you will see, the engine store up a lot of sand. And even though they have a train at the bottom of the foot, they still pick up this key sand. There's a little fine sand. Still pick them up. So when you back up to the beach and you pick up this sand, 5 minutes and you shut down. The water settle in here and these little sand fall to the bottom. This whole bottom area here was full with the sand. There's still a lot more sand in here. No, I wish that this company would make like something on the side here where we could flush out these sands, because there's no way to get them out. They can't work their way up back again, come out through the thermostat or come out through the side. Once they're down here, they stay here. So an advice to the company is to make a piece in here where you can unscrew something and you can flush them out. And this is with every engine right now, not only Suzuki. This is my Suzuki. So when this gets filled like that with sand, the engine run at a very high temperature. Not enough to trigger the alarm, but it's running at a high temperature. Running at a high temperature eventually gonna break your head. And that's what happened to this one. I'll show you a picture. I can't turn it over right now because we don't want to misplace any of these valves. Maybe I can a little bit. And I can show you on video, but we already see and picture. And then it starts to get water. This one right here, hope you can see that right there. Overheat caused that, or too much heat for a long time. I'll show the other part of the engine, but if they would make this engine with a solution for that, where you can flush out the engine from the bottom cylinder, you will get out a lot of these sand. That's a major problem right now for every engine. These two pieces here are my engine parts. This is my part, that's my part. These are my parts right here. Last year, around the same time, the same thing happened to the other engine. But the break in the head was much worse because I run the engine, because you can still run. I run it for about 3 more trips before I stop. And it makes it really worse. Well, I recognized the problem early this time and I didn't push this engine. As I figure out what was the problem, I stopped. And that's why the brake on this one isn't so bad. But the brake on the other one last year was really bad, and it could lead to breaking up your piston and other stuff if you run it for too long. So I probably save quite a bit by not running it too long. If I had mentioned it in details, but all the sand that you see here came out the bottom of the cylinder. And listen, there's about this much more still in there that I haven't taken out. Just take it out just to prove a point. Alright. Here's deep blue and little blue. I'm going to show you what we had to do on that engine to get out that power head. So here's another problem with this engine. This whole piece here is called the engine holder. The engine block, or the power head, it's bolt down on this. There's all these bolts that hold it down there, and there is one culprit. There is one bolt that goes through from the bottom up here. This is the exhaust. This bolt here is always frozen because of the heat from the exhaust and maybe salt air, or sometimes maybe a little bit of salt. To get off this power head, you have to friggin' engine air out this bolt. You have to break up this whole engine holder piece just to get off the head. So when this bolt is freeze, this piece is not good again. You have to break this up to get that off. So now I have to find a piece like this. Luckily on this engine last year, that bolt came loose. But for this one, I guess 1 year more freeze it that it couldn't move. See the pieces? We just had to break off all these pieces here. There was a whole case in here. We had to break off all of that just to get to this bolt inside here, to break this bolt so we could get off this piece. And now that you get off the power head, then you could take off the cylinder head and see what the damage was. Man, what design. It's kind of crazy. But if these guys would eventually make some inspection hole or some flush for that bottom cylinder, where you can flush out those sands, because it can't come back up. Once those sands go down in there, it can't come up back. So there has to be something where you can flush them out, because over years you might get 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces a month in there, little pieces that somebody add up over the years. There has to be some design for that, and it happened with every engine. None of them have a design right now to counter that. So anybody who have boat that operate in shallow water, especially at the Keys where you pick up coral sand, over the years those coral sand will stain your engine and will create an overheat problem. And like I said, I'm not giving Suzuki a bad name, but it affects Suzuki more than it affects the other engine, but it affects all of them. That sand is going to stay down there. There's no way for it to come back out. Eventually it's going to have a major effect on your engine. There is a solution for it. The solution is expensive, no hell. It's taking off your head every few years or so and cleaning out and put it in back on. That's a major expense. Nobody wants to do that. If you have a little hole on the side where you could just flush fresh water in there and flush out all those sand, that will solve the problem. Take note, manufacturers, you're creating some serious problem for us.